Welcome, Internet. This is another special live stream event. This is a R&D, a review and discussion presented by G Nation. I am your host, the one and only Detroit's finest, your boy Magic, and I am joined by my esteemed, repeated cast of panelists. All of these wonderful, beautiful people have been guests on the Original Juke podcast, which is behind these R&Ds. They are starting with the lady below me. She is a wonderful, an amazing person who inspires Black women using the imagery and artistry of comic books. E616 Consulting Zone, Liz Gilliam.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I'm excited to
Yes.
be back on the panel. I just had to get that out. I'm excited to be back in here with y'all.
And we excited to have you anytime, any place now. Next to her is the esteemed author, traveling man, retired hooper, the co-host of Jig Nation's newest podcast, Finalysis 101, the one and only Duke Greg Burnham the first.
Thank you.
Apparently, Sprite he obeys his thirst with Sprite.
Me, I'm trying to live out here. It is hot.
Oh, above him, he is the man behind the Omega Spears Travels. So if you need to travel to anywhere inside the Shiar space, he is your man. Uh, my man, the one and only Jewel Spears.
All hail the Empire and go blue.
All right. So, folks, if you are watching here live on Facebook, live on Twitch, or live on YouTube, the panel and I are going to be discussing 2025's Sinners, filmed by Ryan Coogler, starring a wonderful cast of fantastic actors. Um, so, we're going to start this stream with a um, more with ratings. Um, Shout out Unique DNA, good brother watching on YouTube, the co-host of the Original Cheek podcast. But we're gonna start talking about this. We're gonna start with the non-spoiler ratings, and then we're gonna talk a bit about this cast. So out of five, let's start with Greg. What do you rank Sinners out of five? Five being the best, one being the worst.
I'm gonna go with the good old fashioned six there. Six.
Okay, hey, if you would have given, hey, yeah, I like five. I go with fives. You know, I got five on it. Five is a wonderful number. But hey, if you want to say six, that's okay with me.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, Liz, non-spoiler rating. What do you give it?
I was actually going to say more like a 12, but I will hold it down with Greg and say 6. I'll try to behave, but I'm
Okay,
also going to follow the example that was set. So 6.
okay. So since Greg set a new precedent, apparently
Yes.
we're modifying. Uh, so Jewel, where you putting this?
Well, we're gonna remodify it. 4.8
What?
4.8. Okay,
out of
okay.
five.
Out of five. 4.8 out of
Oh,
five. Okay,
4.8 out of five.
okay. Cool, and yeah, I respect that because as great it is, it's not a perfect film. So,
Correct. But it's
that-
damn close.
oh yeah, it's
That's
it's
what
right,
I'm saying.
ooh, it's right there.
If five is absolute perfection, this is a
Mm.
4.85 for like this is
And I'll just say this before you even go, Mr. Magic. I recognize that it's not like a perfect film, but my blackness, my like my living in the southness, whatever you want to call it, like yeah, it gives it that extra for me. So yeah.
Completely understandable.
mhm.
I'm right there with y'all. I'm right there with y'all. Um, if I'm giving it a rating, man, I was I just put it exactly at a 5 because even though it's not a perfect film, I don't expect it doesn't not being a perfect film doesn't make me put not put a movie at a 5. So I put it at a 5 because it hit all the beats that it I was glad it hit, and it also took me places I didn't expect.
Mm.
And sonically, it may be it's one of the top 5 movies I've seen audio wise
Yes.
ever. Maybe even I mean top 3. I'm not gonna say top 5, top 3 sonically as a film. Um, and that's not even just the music, and also the way um, the background conversations happened, um, like when Lisa is crossing the street, and like when Delta Slim is telling his story about him and Rice, hearing those stories, hearing that interaction in the background, sonically, this movie is it's superior. It's amazing. So for that, I give it a 5. So I think this is the first that we've had a ranking that's above the scale. So this one just broke the scale. We broke the scale on this one. Um, but anyone in the comments in the chat, feel free to throw your rankings of this. Clearly, we're not adhering to the 5 limit. So if you're ranking it in an 8 out of 5, cool in the gang. You can just
Who's
tell
this man in the comments talking about he hasn't seen it yet?
yeah, well, you gotta give him brother a little grace. He's been working nights. He works nights now, so and when he's up in the daytime, he's with the boys. So it's been tough for him to get to the movies. So
Well, it's
we'll give him a
Magic
little
just like
grace
saw
on
it on Friday, so we have to understand.
Yeah, like this is so weird.
that.
It's
How many
like
times I've seen this movie?
Right,
Man,
right,
hey, give me some credit. I got to see this one in the theaters, which was the
they
first
just
movie.
took it out the theater Thursday.
Hey, I saw it last month. My first time getting into the theaters in forever. Thank you, AMC Stubs membership. I got to see it and enjoy it.
Thank you, David, for being honest. Go see the movie, man. Don't make me come to where you are and kidnap you and, and make you see the movie. It shouldn't have to come to that.
Yeah, David, if you need to borrow my HBO Max because it's streaming on Max,
Mm.
let a brother know, and I got you because for the culture, you need to see this film. Like this, and I didn't plan on saying this. This just came to me. Is this now like the film that you need to see for the culture?
It's the latest. I don't know if it's.
I shouldn't say the film, but like, is it? I should say, has it joined that list of films?
Oh, absolutely.
That you as an absolute must see.
Absolutely. My mama, I made my mama see it, and she was scared the whole time, and I apologized afterwards, but I made her see it.
My sister won't see it. All she hears is vampires, and I'm like,
that was
like
my mom.
the least of anything. I was like, you got a whole first half of the film, or you ain't got to worry about. No, just come with me, and she just refuses, won't do it. So
it is now the background soundtrack of my living domain. If anything, if nothing is on, Sinners is on. Like,
okay.
I'm with you, Jules. Helping to keep it number one because it's been number one on Max since the day it dropped.
I'm right there with you. So I think I've played it 5+ times since it's been on Max, and not just as research or to revamp for this, like just because it's that good.
It's that good,
and because I know I missed something the first time around. I know I missed something the second time around. And the last time I watched it, I noticed something else I initially, some of those obscure details I was looking for some of those obscure details that I know I missed the first time or several times around. And I keep uncovering things and having things coming like, I have a question about that. Just another a detail here, a detail there.
Hmm.
All right, so let's talk about this cast. Um, I'm gonna start off with the obvious. The Michael B. Jordan, man, as the Smokestack Twins. Uh, I ain't gonna start with the performance because I can go on way too long. So, Liz, I'm gonna start with you. This performance.
I It was true art, mastery of the art. He played them both. They were two different characters, but the way that he gave them still that thread of sameness, like it was two sides of the same coin, but still two very different characters. I don't know how he did it. I don't. I mean, it's just complete mastery of the art. And he talks about how hard he worked and how he worked with twin consultants and all these things. And it's evident. It is evident in how they did it. And hearing the production talk about how they had to make it work and how they had to repeat takes and how he had all these cameras around him. So it was just there's a lot going on and they made it seamless and he did a really, really magnificent job.
I concur 100%. I think Jewel can back me up, particularly. Um, it's, when I look at this previously, the best, in my personal opinion, the best um, single actor playing twins or multiple versions of a person prior to that in media, in my opinion, was Tatiana Maslany in Orphan Black. Not Orphan, yeah,
Mm.
Orphan Black, because that was a phenomenal performance. She made me believe she was all those different women. Like sometimes I would watch that show and forget this is one woman playing four different roles. Michael B. Jordan did that in this film. There are times where you forget this
Hmm.
is one cat playing these two distinctly different men.
Yeah.
That was completely going to be. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I think that one of the things for me, especially um a movie called Alto Nights had come out not too much before that. It was Robert De Niro, and he's playing two people. And I didn't get the memo. I didn't, I just went in the theater to see it. And for like the first half of the movie, I'm like what the hell is going on? Because it's not being done very well. Like the characters look very much alike, and it would just caught me off guard. So I was like extra vigilant going in to watch Sinners, and I'm telling you, like that very first scene where Statham smoked a cigarette, like, and it's so seamless. It was like from that point on, I didn't think about that being the same person. It's the same person, but he did such a good job of like just the soft areas showing the difference between the two characters. Um, it was just an excellent job. I've been critical of Michael B. Jordan for stuff in the past. I've always been a fan of his, but you could tell that he really, really, stepped his game up and went overdose on this one. It was just a great, great performance.
Absolutely, I agree. Go ahead, Jewel.
A lot of times when you see a performer play a twin, there's a lot of trickery done with camera angles, with things that they add in, with things where you can tell reshoot, cut in, put in. You could not detect this in this movie. If Smoke and Stack were two completely distinctly different characters, the way they moved, the way they talked, the way they walked, everything was completely different. If you had told me that they had cast twins for these roles and it wasn't the one singular actor, I would have completely believed it. He was absolutely fantastic.
No, absolutely. And that initial scene where they hand off the cigarette, I was like, wow. Not only did he do this, but I was like, you were showing off from jump. Like you
Yeah,
just
he's going
talk
out.
about stunt 101. Like you just stunted on Hollywood
Yeah,
from jump with that. I ain't never seen that done because generally, a lot of times it's a split screen
Uh-huh.
or in
hmm
such. He stunted so hard with that simple handoff of a cigarette, and then he did it again, and it's like, and he leans over, and he's like bruh, like just the filmography mastery right there alone. Like, okay,
yep.
Ryan ain't playing with us, and we're talking 5 minutes into the movie.
Mm-hmm. I
Uh,
watched something, one of the behind the scenes, excuse me, interviews with Ryan where he said it was urgent to him that he do that early in the film because he figured we'd be coming in knowing it was one person, but he wanted early on to get us in that moment and realize, no, we got two different folks here. And I think he did it. I think he did it masterfully. I think he did it really well with that scene, especially.
Absolutely. So let's move on to Miles Cannon, who
Ooh,
portrays Preacher Boy's Salmon Moore.
ooh.
Jewel, how did you feel about young Miles and pointing out that this is Miles's debut in film?
Um, for this to be his debut, especially, uh, I did not know that until after the fact. He was able to carry such a level of empathy and soulfulness from the jump, and he was able to maintain that throughout his performance. Um, for the character that he played, it was absolutely perfect because this is someone who was able to take that, and when he put it into his music and when he put it into his song, you could truly believe that it would transcend dimensions because there was that much power and soul behind him as a performer in this. Um, from the second you saw him walk into the church and his condition, it was just like, all right, well, what went down with this? I really want to see this story. And to see what this, I mean, he was not the lead, but he very much was a lot, not all, because this movie was loaded with heart. He was a lot of the heart of this film because it really, a lot of it is being seen from his perspective. And for this again to be his first role, the brother, he put his foot in it. He killed it.
Absolutely. Liz, on to you.
I cannot believe, still knowing that it was his debut, still cannot believe that it was his debut. Because he didn't just act with heart, but he sang. His voice, he sang. I mean, yeah, he was magnificent. And it's so funny, Jewel, you just said he wasn't the lead, and I was like, wait, but he what? But what? He was, and you're right. Obviously, he wasn't. It was down to the Smokestack Twins, but he just was magnificent. He held his own with some heavy hitters in a heavy film. Like he held it down, and so he every award that goes out needs to go to somebody on this cast because they really just
Somebody, please.
every award needs to go to somebody on this cast.
No, absolutely. Before we go too further on, we're going to welcome the fourth panelist, who's understandably late as she was taking care of family. That is the lovely Ivo Jackson. Ivo, welcome yet again.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes, we are glad to have you here. Now, Ivo, you didn't miss much. Um, we gave non-spoiler ratings of the movie. Um, the usual 1 through 5, which Greg and Liz decided to circumvent by giving it sixes, and Jewel with the 4.8, 9, 5, 3, 3, 7, continuing on. Um, and then we just started talking about the cast. So you're pretty much right here. That's still kind of at the beginning. What would you give the film as a rating?
A 5 if you're able. 1 through 5, right?
Correct. But if you want to go
Okay.
above, I mean, we've already set a
Oh, it's
precedent.
okay.
You can
It's
rank it
okay. I can
higher.
say with the scale. A 5 if you were able to watch it with a through a proper cultural lens. A 3 if you were not.
Okay.
People who did not enjoy that movie did not enjoy it, in my opinion, because they didn't have the cultural framework to enjoy what Ryan Coogler was doing.
Mm, fantastic point. Absolutely fantastic. Wow. All right. Um, right. So as you came in, we were talking about, like I said, the cast. We were discussing Miles Canton. This was his debut as Preacher Boy Sammy, and Greg, your thoughts on Miles?
Um, I think it's a testament to Ryan as a director that to like put him in the perfect spots. Like I say a lot of times you'll have like good actors, seasoned actors, but they'll have terrible dialogue written for them or whatever. So I think that Ryan did a great job of not exposing him. If there were any weaknesses, because we didn't see any in the film. Um, for him to be new, stuff that he did with his eyes. What in the world?
Oh, my bad.
Was it I was just gonna say, like, for him to be new, like to some of the stuff he did, like just with his eyes and like his expressions, it was just like he can't be. He had to do some kind of acting somewhere before, because he was just like he looked really polished and believable, like in every scene, whether it was smoke, somebody staring. I mean, somebody staring at you, to him trying to step up. One of the cool scenes for me is when Remick is telling him, like, just let me get him and all y'all, and I'll leave y'all alone. And he actually starts to walk up, like, and accept, like, I'll sacrifice myself for all these people that I love. Just a really, really good job. Great choice. I heard that he was on tour because he tours with her, the singer, and that's when he got the call, like that, hey, they want to see you about this part. So I just think it was great.
No, absolutely. I had never heard of the young brother. The moment he opened his mouth, and to me, I don't know. Maybe he was acting, maybe he was directed, but Michael B. Jordan's reaction, the moment he opened his mouth, and the voice of a 60-year-old black man from the Delta came out, and Mike looked at him like, what did I just hear? Like, that was such a real reaction, in my opinion. It looked real, because that was the same reaction I had. Like, what is this voice that just came out this young? And we don't know how old Sammy's supposed to be, but he's somewhere between 17 and like 21. He's a
Mhm.
young kid, and for that to come out of him was that was amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah, that was definitely take one.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I want to move on um, to one of my favorites, Wunmi Mosaku as Annie.
Oh,
And I would like, Ivo, if you could start just your thoughts on Annie's character.
Oh my. How deep are we going? Like,
We
because
go deep.
I know, but I mean,
You
how
know,
soon? Because, I'll just jump right in the deep end of the pool if that's what y'all want.
yeah, we
Okay.
ain't playing in the shallow end. This is not what we
Okay,
do.
cool. Um, I enjoyed her character because I enjoyed what she illustrated for those who were watching and able to see. Um, as a mixed white passing woman, her relationship with black men.
Oh, no. Annie,
I'm
not
talking
Mary.
about the wrong person.
Yeah,
I'm
you're talking
sorry.
about Mary. You're talking about
I'm
Annie.
talking about Mary.
Oh,
I'm
child.
talking about Annie.
Okay.
Smokes woman.
Big girl.
Yes,
Yeah.
big.
Okay, you gotta keep it real with me because I clearly lost everyone's name. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yes.
Okay. Love her and her representation across the board. Even though I am a Christian, I understand what this film is doing. And this was not a Christian message, so I'm not judging it as such. The representation that she brought for African spiritual disciplines, uh, body shape and size, perspective, all of it. She was very authentic, very much who Black women see and are, but are not often depicted positively on screen. It was good. I saw a lot. It meant a lot to a lot of Black women to see her in that way, empowered,
Mm.
and I appreciated that. And she brought some depth to the idea of good versus evil and what it means to be focused on something positively spiritual versus something negatively spiritual, regardless of what the discipline is. So yeah, I
Yeah,
found that to be interesting.
absolutely. She was the curveball performance for me. I did not expect them to give her so much. They gave her a lot, and she knocked it out of the park. Um, Jewel, I'm gonna move on to you. How did you feel about Annie?
First of all, Wunmi knocks everything out of the park. Shouts to Lovecraft Country because she's absolutely fantastic, and she's fantastic in everything she does. Um, for me, she was the embodiment of not only, even though they no longer had a child, she was the embodiment of the Black. She was the mother. She had such a motherly energy, sexy
Hmm.
as all hell. This is one of the sexiest movies ever portrayed with zero nudity, by the way. Period.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Stole my point, but I love it. Thank you.
and it always would shine through with her. She was the mother, and she was the mother in every single situation they found themselves in. And I wasn't surprised that he gave her so much to do because she's so fantastic in everything she does. She's now she's one of those actresses, those performers for me where if I see her in something, she's gonna murder it. She killed it. She's fantastic. That's another one where if you would tell me she probably doesn't have the screen time that would warrant it to certain voters or certain academies, but if you put her up for best supporting, I'm with it.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely. Liz, you're nodding assent. Go ahead, take over.
There we go. So this Annie was huge for me on a bunch of different levels. First of all, Wumi is, like Jewel said, just if she's in it, I'm set. She is incredible. She is fantastic. Um, I even remember for a long time saying they underutilized her in Loki season one. They really gave her time to shine in season two, but they underutilized her in Loki season one. Um, as
Okay,
far as
I'm just recognizing that was her from Loki.
that was
Yeah,
her, yeah, right? They
Wow.
under
Okay.
B
I wasn't a
B
big fan of Loki, so I kind of
What?
I wasn't
B15,
don't
right?
do this.
I
Don't do this.
wasn't I wasn't I wasn't I found it boring at
No,
times. I
Ooh.
did. I did.
We don't
I
have
did. We could go into that later. We could go into that later. But now that I recognize that was her, I'm recognizing that. Okay.
but as a hoodoo practitioner myself, and as a the third in a long in a line of root workers, it was really something to see her on film handling it with such grace and such care. And the scene where she took Elijah's mojo bag and redid it and fixed it for him to keep him protected moving forward. Just all of those things are what I would hear my grandmother say to us. You know, how do you know I haven't kept you going with the prayers that I prayed every day? How do you know I didn't keep you safe? All of that stuff just really sat with me. And to see her and her level headedness
Mhm.
and how like she was able to tell that cornbread was on some other stuff when he
Mhm.
showed up. Like just the way she was there, like Jewel said, she was the mother in every situation that she found herself in, and that's the kind of that was the kind of stuff we needed. Like she was that anchor, that soft anchor that we needed at all times. Like she was the iron fist wrapped in a velvet glove. Like that was who she was for me.
Absolutely. Um, I'm gonna just piggyback a little bit off of what you said, and also from like I have a person myself coming from um, a Christian perspective. One thing I loved about Annie, and I knew Ryan would. I didn't think Ryan wouldn't do this, but we all can attest that most of the time when somebody is that's a hoodoo practitioner is portrayed in media, they're portrayed as a massive joke, as a comedy piece. This was, regardless of what Ryan's personal spiritual beliefs are, you can tell that there was respect
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and decency done to display this, and also the accuracy. Because while I can't pretend to be super knowledgeable in regards to hoodoo, the things that I did know were represented accurately and effectively, from working roots to even the terms like the term of haints, all things that were very accurate to the Delta and to the Bayou, which they implied that she originally came from. That to me was all fantastic. I'm going to skip Greg on Annie because I know he wants to talk about his girl Jamie Lawson as Perlene.
I felt like a little bit of sweat like bubbling up on my forehead. Um, yeah, she was just like every scene she was in. I think it was a great. I don't know. I think everybody was selected very well, but I'm trying to say all the clean stuff just in case, my mama listening. She was fine as hell. And, it was causing, like, immediately that was the role that she was put into. She played it very well. I like some of the stuff like that had you guessing. Like she had the scarf on her neck early on, which is kind of a trope like we've seen in vampire movies. Because you're wondering, is she, um, they played her really well. The garlic scene, and it was so funny because people was like screaming like, man, just like eat the garlic. I happen to be married to a woman that's just like that, and so it just really felt authentic because it's like I know it seems like it makes sense to just do it, but there are people that's just like, nah, man, I don't really like this. Man, that ain't the point right now. We trying not to die. Um, but no, she did a really good job. I enjoyed her, being what she was. I would have loved to see more of her, but they really didn't. It was spaced out. Like you got a lot of character in like short bursts from a lot of different people. When you go back and look at it, nobody really had like a ridiculous amount of screen time.
But you make a good point, and nobody actually. One thing that's amazing about this, before I move on to the next person about Jamie, no character here has a closed story, which is one of the things that I know some people are really upset that Ryan said there's not going to be a sequel or any following Sinners content. But nobody's story is really closed from this film. There's what ifs around every single character, which is or unanswered questions about every single character, which I think just is a phenomenal piece of writing by Ryan. Um, Jewel, tell me, how you felt about Perlene there.
Really quickly, they always start off saying there isn't going to be a sequel until they start throwing those dollars at 'em. I can clearly there's several spinoffs you can do. Um,
Oh my God,
I
yes,
would watch a Choctaw Tribe Vampire Hunter show in a heartbeat.
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, Jamie as Pearline. Again, I can't really say anything negative about the character. She's always going to bring that level of sexiness because she's just a naturally sexy person. And that was very much her role. I did like how they did. I did like the way she was portrayed. I can't say she necessarily blew me away, but they didn't give her enough to do when it came to that. She fit her role and she played her role and she played it well. But I can't really say anything negative about what she did, what she put together. I'll say that when she got up on stage, there was a strength to Jamie Lawson that I had never really seen her portray when she got on stage and performed. I had never seen that from her before. So that was cool to see. There's an added dimension to her as an actress. I still don't have her as Storm, but I'm gonna die on that branch. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, I agree. I still don't have her as Storm either. But that when they said she was gonna sing, I was like, okay,
Yeah,
she gonna sing. They didn't tell me she was gonna
yeah,
sing. She
yeah.
sang that, and that
Right.
performance was amazing. Um, I'm gonna skip a couple characters. Actually, before I go to Mary, I um I think we all can just agree that Delroy
Man,
Lindo was just phenomenal as Delta
it's what
Slim. Like Delroy, I mean Delroy's a
it's what he
phenomenal actor,
does.
but this is what he does. But this was such for a supporting character. If he doesn't get a nomination, it's a crime because this was such a layered supporting character that was so impactful from start to finish. Like, come on, man! Like, you can't convince me something else is gonna come out the rest of this year. I'm
He was
sorry,
easily the most
I don't
authentic
see it.
character in the entire film. Easily.
Yeah.
When he told his story in the
Okay.
beginning and got to singing and moaning and humming, everybody felt that. White folks felt that. It was bad up in that theater. It was heavy.
Okay. Liz, throw your piece in there because that seemed to shock you a little bit. I think you're
I
muted,
was.
Liz.
I'm not. I disagree.
Okay.
I hadn't thought about it like that. Of him being the
Okay.
most authentic character out there. I think that they all. I won't say all. I think that many of them had authenticities. Like I would put, if I had to pick a most authentic character, I would absolutely put Sammy or Miles Keaton up there with him. Um, but with him, not above him,
No, I
not
got
even.
you. I just want you to consider this piece here. How when he told a story about
Yeah,
how his friend got lynched. Yeah,
Him and Rice,
at the
yes.
train station. That man never left the train station.
he didn't. You could
He was
tell
sitting there
Yeah.
nursing that pain,
out there with the Chain Gang boys, like they were
stuck
still folks. Yes, yes.
the entire time, still stuck in that moment. And the way Del Orlando pulled it out, like I felt that.
Hmm.
Mm,
It's a period, it's meant to be like a period film. And
mm,
as the oldest primary cast member,
Yeah,
he had the most sauce.
he
And
did.
when he got the humming and singing, I felt that was not acting. He was
mm.
expressing real
Hmm.
pain and using this film as an excuse to just, get some of it out.
Oh, no, that was you right because that was real. Because when he told Stack to slow up when he saw that
Yes,
chain gang and he stood up and told them to keep their heads
yes.
up. Like, no, I
Mhm.
felt that. I was like, oh yeah, I felt that. Um, that's a great
Yeah,
observation, Ivo, because I think subconsciously I felt he was the realist, but I hadn't verbalized it by far.
I just can't say by
Because I
far because like any um like I know people in Louisiana that are hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like so somebody who lived in the South for most of my life and I lived in Louisiana for quite some time. We joke about like the accents, like as good as Michael B. Jordan did in his role. I feel like he was that ain't the accent that he had is not like Delta type of accent. It's more like a Midwest country where I'm from. So I can speak on that too. Um,
Well, I would say he's supposed to sound
well,
like that though, because they did spend 7 years in the
yeah, but
Midwest.
that don't fall off, man. Like that deep down Delta stuff,
Yeah.
it don't fall off. But I mean, but we're
I know
splitting hairs because
we be code switching, you
yeah,
know.
no. But when he was like, it's just some of the twang and stuff that they had. I was like, that Michael, had. I was like, well, I ain't mad at it. Don't get me wrong. Like Annie sounded like she was born and raised in the Delta or the Bayou, like deep down. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
yes, Slim was right there with her. I just don't know. I feel like her performance was so powerful and so authentic. And I talked to people like back home, like they just like, bro, that she just. And then what you said about the hoodoos and like from that standpoint, I just heard like a lot of people that are like resonating really hard with her performance. But I'm not putting them up against each other because I love them all.
It's debatable.
Yeah, part of the fun. Um, so last one we're gonna talk about.
Last
Uh,
one.
last
Okay.
character, just because respect the time, like because again, this could be an 8 hour show. Like there's so much, there's so much in this film. Last character highlight we're gonna do. I'm gonna get it back to Ivo since you kind of started in on Haley Steinfeld's Mary.
My
Uh,
bad.
it's all good. It is all
But
good.
she really did a great job playing the role of this half white passing woman and her relationship with the Black community and how nuanced and dangerous it always is. The way she was positioned in the film to appeal to whatever cultural side she wanted to at the time to get what she needed, it was very real. When she needed to be white, she was white. When she needed to be a thug, she was a thug. She just was very fluid in that way, but it wasn't actually cool. It was dangerous, always dangerous. And when she went outside to look into these Irish musicians, that scene was so masterfully done. And even what she had on and the way she sashayed out there, she just stepped into her whiteness because she thought that was going to get her what they needed. And she also thought it was going to protect her. I mean, she's just out there in the dark with all kind of monsters sashaying around like a white woman who has no fear because she know ain't nobody gonna do nothing to her. And then the way she ends up being the source, essentially, of all their problems, and how she couples with this Black man, and they are a generational thing. Like it wasn't just then. Anytime you see this woman and this Black man together, it's this. I just thought that was really masterfully done, and she did a really good job embodying the message of her character.
Well said. Well said. Yeah. It's tough for me to see Haley Steinfeld as an adult because in my mind she's forever a
Speak
child.
on speak
So
on it. Speak on it.
I can't. Like I look, I'm
Who
like
is she?
I just I really struggle to see her as anything but a child. Um, so as seeing her in this grown woman role, her doing these grown woman things, talking this grown woman talk, was was really something different for me as a spectator.
What child actress?
And
What child role did she play? I don't know her.
I haven't seen her as a child,
Oh,
but did you watch Hawkeye?
No, not really. That was
Okay,
sorry.
okay, understood. But did you watch either of the Spider-Verse films?
Yeah.
She voiced that's Gwen.
Oh, that's Gwen's voice.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
okay, but I mean, what they gonna?
Yeah, I've seen her in other stuff where she, like,
What else? Yeah, what else?
to me,
has she
she's
been? I've
forever
only ever
12.
seen her in comic stuff.
I'm trying to
Those
remember now.
movies, those movies that had that musical, she was in. I forget the name of those movies, but she was portrayed, and at that age, she was a kid.
Oh no, the first thing I saw her in was True Grit, back in
Okay.
2010 with Josh Brolin, and she was
Right.
like 8.
Okay.
Okay.
You know,
But
something like
There
that.
have been a
So,
couple teenage portrayals, and it's like she voiced what's your name in Arcane. She's Gwen Stacy.
She was Vi.
She was in
Right.
Bumble. She
Well,
was
she was
Vi.
very
She was in
Yes.
Bumblebee.
she was in Bumblebee.
Very
Yeah.
adult.
That's what a child.
Yeah, I just
like.
Yeah,
Oh.
She was the main actress in Bumblebee.
in
like,
Bumblebee.
the lead.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I just look at her. I see a child. As Heart Shaped on Twitch said, she was nominated for the Academy Award at 12 or something. Yeah, that's correct. Like she's been around the game for a long time. So like for me personally, it's tough to see her in this mature, role. And then then the first moment we meet her, she's talking all this.
Jump right
I'm
in.
just like, oh, right in it, like, oh, this is where we at, huh? But I think she did a good job with the role and showing this that this dichotomy that she's expressed that she didn't want to be white, she didn't want to live in a white world, but her grandfather was half black. It's not like she was gonna really have the opportunity in 1932 Clarksdale, Mississippi, to really live that life and live it safely. And that was that was a great thing that I think Ryan added in that argument at the club, was that he's like, he was never going to be safe with me. He was going to burn the world down for her to keep her safe, but ultimately being with him was more unsafe than anything else.
She wasn't gonna never be with him for real. I understand it though. I mean, she's a young girl. Her heart was with him, and you talk like that, and you mean it in the moment. But in their reality, she wasn't gonna never be fully black in the black world, even if he had let her. That's part of, I believe, Ryan Coogler's messaging with her character. Like, she uses what she needs to when she needs to. I think she would have come to her senses and realized she didn't want to be black. Kind of like Imitation of Life. Sooner or later, you don't, when the consequences for being black come around, you don't want to be black. When she got turned, the way she was turned so quickly, we gonna kill all of you, like it wasn't nothing. That she was a chameleon as a character. I think a lot of that was more her emotion talking than her reality. I don't think she would have really descended into the black world, even if he had let her.
I think they all, when they turned, I think that turn was pretty quick for all of them, because Cornbread was ready to tear everybody's throat from they hit their body.
I get that she was fully turned. I'm just saying her attitude didn't take long, because I don't think she was authentically with any one group for real. She lived her whole life turning and changing into whatever she could be and what she needed to be. When she's with this community, she talks like this. When she's with this community, she talks like this. This is this character's reality. And so I don't think she really authentically was with any side for real. But that's just my opinion.
One of the things with this particular movie, where I'm not going to say it's a negative, but one thing that they didn't really get into at all is the lore of the vampire in this world within this movie. So as far as how quickly she turns, you know, typically once you become a vampire, that's just not you anymore. Like who you were is not who you are now. So I was fine with that turn. And plus, you don't really know with the lore, is there a certain level? There's absolutely a certain level of connection to the person who created you. That's typically on the case. And you saw that in that dance scene where they were all dancing with Remick outside, which was also phenomenal.
Yes.
So I was fine with the quick turn with her in that sense. As far as the decisions that she would have made, well, she had that option. She could do that in that world. So she just took advantage of who she was in the situation that she was in, which I was fine. I didn't really see it as a negative in the character, but it's like, yeah, that's how it would have been with her. That's what she would have done.
Well, it's not so much about it being negative as it being defining. It was defining for her character to be that way.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Mary had a difficult time fitting into either world because she was so close. As she expressed, her grandfather was half black. Her mother had helped raise and nurse the twins. She was so alongside the world that part of her wouldn't be part of it, but she really never felt at home anywhere. So when she had that connection with Stack, with him was where she felt most at home, but she really could never have that because of everything else surrounding them, and just the rest of reality. Speaking of 1932 Clarksdale, Mississippi, I don't know about y'all, but looking at the setting, I got a real Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry vibe from, the Delta depicted here. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but I felt like I was kind of looking into the pages of that book as they're going through the town.
Well, yeah, that's what Ryan does. As the movie was opening, I could tell he actually referenced an almanac to get the weather right and everything, because he pays that kind of attention to detail. And that's what I came to see. Like, what details is he hiding? What things are hiding in plain sight? What messages are being blatantly spoken, and then which ones are being whispered? That was the real experience for Sinners for me. So definitely got the period right. And even the way he made it a cheesy vampire movie, but it's not really a cheesy vampire movie.
Right.
It's about cultural vampires more than actual vampires. But then, and cultural appropriation. So then he does a kind of reverse cultural appropriation by making it a cheesy vampire movie, but then it's about Black people, and then it's in the past, and it's just this hodgepodge, and it's just a gumbo of a film. And I knew coming into it that this chaotic thing was really a tapestry, and we were just supposed to look for all the Easter eggs and fun things to find.
Well said. Well said. That kind of ties into some of the. I wanted to talk about relationships. So what we've been saying is perfect, as we just kind of talked about Stack and Mary. Um, I would like to talk about the relationship between the twins and Sammy. The older cousin, looking up to the that older cousin, wishing to be like that older cousin, and the fact that they provided the guitar to Sammy. Jewel, what about their relationship really spoke out to you the most?
It was real. They were protective, but to a point. They were understanding that he was the young cat, but to a point. And they really, I like how they very much saw what the young brother was going to be and could have been, but it wasn't an over the top dragging him along into being one of them and indoctrinating him into their world. It was, hey, you know, we want to bring you into the juke joint. We need you. You can do this. You can do that. You're so, but you know, be you. You're not us, and we don't want you to become us. But be you. And I appreciated that. I appreciated that leeway that they gave him. And there was real, it was very much a family kind of thing with them. And I like the way that was portrayed, because so often you do see the stereotypical, let's corrupt him. Let's do this, let's do that. And they didn't go there with this, which I appreciate.
I agree. Greg, as a basketball coach, you kind of have had a similar relationship, with young men. How did that translate on screen for you and
I
echoes
thought
of your life?
it was excellent, and it goes into like all these little themes that were going on. I remember when you had older cousins that was in the streets that was doing stuff they weren't supposed to be doing, and then your mom would be like, "Go hang out with your cousin today," and you like get to it. It's like training day, But you had those guys that would always like still try to teach you not to do what they're doing. Like they would, make a point to tell you to go your own way. It just reminded me of a time when, like, we as a community, we had like protectors all around us. So you get Smoke's interaction with that adorable baby girl in town, and how he's like, "You heard of the smokestack twins?" And she gets scared. He's like, "No, you're not in trouble." And then this is my chance to teach you a little bit of a lesson today. So I'm getting you to do something for me, but I'm also teaching you a lesson. And we used to get that all the time in the community, Yes. Now it's like people just look at you. You could be lighting your hand on fire and they just keep walking. Don't nobody care, So
They'll pull the phone out.
Yeah. They pull the phone out.
Yeah. So I just thought it was beautiful in that sense. That scene, maybe I'm stretching it to make it sound more powerful, but when Smoke's telling him, this your last juke, and then Sammy's like, "Nah, man, I seen what y'all doing. I'm trying to get out there, and he even tells him, go to Mount Bayou, like all of that, and Sammy's not listening. It's that part which always comes back if you're a parent or a mentor, that no matter how much you tell them, if they look up to you, they're going to follow your actions more than your words. I thought that was beautifully spelled out, like really quickly though. It didn't take 2 years for it. So it was cool.
Oh, you're absolutely correct. Smoke was always putting people on game, and I lived that experience myself as a foolish young man, young teenager who, hanging out with some of the OGs who were doing some of the stuff they shouldn't be doing and wanted to emulate them. And they rightly said, "No, you're not going to do this. We have to do this. You're not going to do this. This is not for you." He said, "You like music? Go make church music. Like, go here. Go be free and do this. Don't do what we're doing." And that's a great point, because we don't see that as prevalent as we did when we were younger in the culture today. Right. Let's talk about Bo and Grace Chow a little bit. They had they have a relationship, but they had a unique relationship with each other, and a unique relationship between them and the twins. Just speaking on the two of them directly, their relationship. Um, if you've been watching, yes, we've been talking spoilers a while. So, if you're concerned about spoilers, you're way too deep. This is way
That
too
movie's
deep.
been out for what, 3
Point.
months?
Movie was in the
Like,
theater for 91 days.
yeah,
It's
this ain't
streaming.
no. Yeah,
It's we
there's
way
no
too
such
deep.
thing as spoilers at this point.
But we had something that was I'm not gonna say it was unique, but because she wasn't the only one in that scenario. But we have, we have Grace and Bo, and we've got a point of contention with Bo being outside and Grace being inside. And um, Liz, tell me how you felt about the Chow's family dynamic.
If I could, before I get into the Childs, I have one thing I want to say about the twins and their
Yeah,
relationship to Sammy.
go right ahead.
I felt like their relationship to Sammy was an extension of who they were to each other.
Mm,
Smoke, every time Smoke had something to say to Sammy, it was protective. It was
yes.
look out for Stack. I don't want you in another joint. I don't want you in another joint. I don't want you doing this. It was everything was protective, and Stack was the fun cousin. Stack was taking them out. Stack was letting them drink in the back with Slim's flask. Stack was letting them play. And one of the things that I caught the third time I watched it was when Stack told when Sammy was like, "I want to drive the car," and Stack said, "On the way back."
Mm,
And that was the opening scene of that movie, was him driving that car on the way back.
On the way back.
yeah.
Damn, like when it hit me, I was like, "Come on, man."
Mhm.
So I think that their relationship to him was an extension of their relationship to each other, and I think that was real cool how Ryan did that, and how all of them did it, because they all had a part in that.
Yeah, and that's one of those what ifs, because I think that probably relates to the relationship that their father had with Sammy's father.
Mm. And the first thing Smoke said to him was, "Your daddy not putting his hands on you, is he?" Like that was
Right.
his first question.
That was his first question.
First question.
Yep.
He was that protector.
And then when he had the satisfactory answer, he said, "Yep, Uncle Jed's always been good."
He's always been good. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Now to the Chows, Bo and Grace and Little Lisa. That family was so much fun. They were so interesting. It was an interesting insertion, and it was absolutely intentional on Ryan's part. Um, I think that they were more of an exercise in passing versus not passing than Mary was. Um, I appreciated how they weaved in and out of the black crowd and the white crowd. Even in Matt, you talked about that walk, Little Lisa's walk across the street.
Yes.
You could tell how Bo was on the black side of the street, selling to the black folk.
Yep.
And you could tell as the camera followed Lisa, the subtle changes in the environment, the signs in the windows, or if there
Yes.
was a sign in the window at all. And as she went across to her mom's store, where the white folk were, and it was really cool to see how she could go in between both of
Both
those
worlds.
places. She
Yeah.
can go between both worlds. But for her parents, Bo was more comfortable with the black folk, and Grace handled the white folk.
Yep.
Which then gets into femininity and where people feel safe and where white folk feel safe. There's a whole other few hours of a session there. But
Right.
I just think that they were more interesting in terms of passing and kind of straddling that line to me than Mary ever was.
Well,
And
that's
that's
not exactly passing for them, but straddling the line is definitely the historical accuracy that.
Well, yeah, I don't think they were trying to pass, but I'm just saying the way that they could move between
both worlds.
both worlds was
Yes.
more interesting than it was for me. I was never convinced by Mary, but that's not
There
that's
was-
neither here nor there.
There
Go
was
ahead, Greg.
something else I just wanted to say real quick. So there's also that thing where you notice Lisa went over, not Bo,
Right.
because those white men didn't want Asian men talking to their women either. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was very accurate, not spoken, but like if you know, you know.
Yeah, and I also, I in my notes when it came to them, it really showed you also kind of showed how much they felt about each side. So Bo was extremely friendly with Smoke. Gave him a hug when he saw him. When Grace came over, she had to say something like, "Oh, looks like somebody been shot here. Like, why are you bringing trouble?" Where Bo was like, "Man, that's not all he's bringing." And then while they're negotiating, Bo drops knowledge like, "Hey, we only got the red paint." He makes it easier for Smoke to negotiate to get a better price. And the look that Grace gave Bo when he said we only got one color, she looks at him like, "You really messing with the money now?" Was kind of like that Michael Corleone, "Don't ever betray the family" type look. Um, Bo was riding more with the brothers, where Grace was like, I'm kind of tolerating them, not really riding with them.
Yeah, and then we saw how quick, just that last scene. So it wrapped it up. I think it was kind of a metaphor for different people in the community that come, they set up their stores, they benefit off of us, but then as soon as some stuff goes down, they got because she was like, "Nah, let's go," and he's like, "The man just lost his brothers." He's like, "Yeah, we ain't here for none of that now. We got to go." So I thought it was another brilliant. It's just like somebody said, Cat Kobe said, a gumbo of a film. I just
Yes.
think it had so many elements that could be divisive, but at the end of the day, what you saw from Grace in the juke is what a lot of people would have done. You start threatening my kid, it's like
Well, it's a
so.
lot. Like, it's a lot of things that happen. Like, I've took the initiative to learn so much about the Chinese presence in the Delta that
Mhm.
I was not aware of prior to
Absolutely,
this film.
absolutely.
And that made my appreciation for the depiction that much more. And I pride myself to be a bit of a history buff, but I was nowhere near cognizant of the large amount of Chinese population in the Delta.
Yeah. A lot of people like found ways to get out after the railroad. That whole travesty. I remember when I first moved to Louisiana, it was one of the first things that caught me off guard was like a lot of Italian people and a lot of like Asian people, but you could tell like they were rooted. They're from there. So yeah, I thought it was another brilliant thing, and to display them in that way, which is, like I said, a metaphor for what we still see in our community, and we still opened our doors to them. You know what I'm saying? And Grace, as crunchy as she was having a good time in that juke.
Oh, yes, she was.
What is you could see like her inhibitions went down. She got comfortable.
She started rocking them hips.
Yeah. So it was just so many elements. It's like you want to be mad at her, but at the same time, like these are the circumstances that have us, like had us in these situations. So,
No, I'm still finna be mad at her though.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's fair.
yes.
You know what? You know me. As soon as she would have been like, "Hey, we need to," I'd have been like, "Here, we open the door, give
Yeah,
her a little
for real,
shove,
for real. I'm throwing you. Yeah,
we'll make it happen."
she'd have been flying like Jazz in the
Yeah.
Fresh Prince. She'd have been like,
Especially when she's like slipped and went off on Slim, and Slim gave her that.
Slim's like, watch your mouth,
Watch your mouth,
woman.
I was like, yeah, we just go ahead and go outside. We don't need you right now.
Like you see it. She was so pressed to go outside. Like, you know what? If you that pressed, okay, you
And
go.
it speaks to the larger point that Ryan Coogler was making. All these other women that ain't got no business up in the spot be the ones that get everybody killed. Just saying.
Yeah, and okay, so that's one of those. It's one of the crazy telling parts of this film. Like, so many, we're always looking in horror films, and even though this is classified as a horror film, it doesn't feel like one.
That is
But
the horror. Trusting all these different folks who ain't got no skin in the game. They the ones get everybody killed. It's horrible.
I'm referring to the archetype of traditional horror films. It doesn't have that traditional horror feel, especially have most of the way through the movie. Um, Yet, so in those movies, you're always like, okay, who were the 3 people or 4 people that are going to survive? This movie, everybody dies except for Samuel. Everybody's gone, and there's no hope either for like, oh, this person may have come back, because we've seen that in horror franchises. Oh, this person comes back, or this person may have survived. They only got clipped, or they got stabbed in an area that wasn't that severe. No, everybody dead.
The only person that we didn't get like a hard confirmation for is Slim. We saw him get jumped,
No,
Right.
no,
He
Slim's
wasn't.
gone. They's chewing on him. Slim is gone.
He bled
He's
out.
gone,
He
gone.
might have built back. He might have
Bled
turned
all the way out.
during the bleeding.
Yeah, first of all, if they didn't kill him
can't
by
hope.
chewing on him,
I
he
can't hope.
slit his wrist.
If he holding the
No,
baby,
he cut up. Yeah, it was high.
he gone.
All that squirting? Nah, Slim
We
gone.
didn't see him burn up. We didn't see
Let him go. Just let
He
him
was
let him go.
holding the baby
No, I
in
will not.
the heaven
No,
of
no,
the
no, that's smoke.
I'm sorry.
That was
We're not
smoke.
talking about that scene.
They
We talking about Delta Slim.
Delta
Oh, okay, my bad.
Let him go.
His liver didn't make it.
You don't need a liver once you turn vampire.
Clearly. Now
I
he
know
might
that
be. He might still be there as a
I didn't lose
vampire.
track of him. You're right.
No, because Slim might be around as a vampire because we didn't see him getting burnt up in the sunlight with everybody else. So he might be a vampire still. He might be out there, but he's dead.
I mean, that's
Slim gone.
Slim lasted longer than he should have. Slim put in some work. I was
Facts.
Slim put some
Yeah.
work in. But
For
Slim
somebody who was perpetually drunk, Slim put in that work.
drunk
He
and
had
all-
one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel anyway.
exactly.
So he just went out in a blaze of glory.
And
Exactly.
he had the foresight because remember when they talked to him and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna be at Messengers." Messengers has been here, been playing there the last 10 years. They're gonna be open the next 10 and stack. Like an old sinner like me, we ain't got much time left on this earth anyway.
that's probably more than the time I got left on this earth. Stack.
Yeah, so he
Yeah.
he foresaw that. So as we've been talking about relationships and everything, we've been talking about some of these major scenes. Some of these scenes I thought were fantastic. The twins buying the mill, fantastic scene. Particularly when they decide to surround old Boss Hog. I forget what the character's name is, but when they surrounded old Boss Hog there, and when he decided to subtly threaten them, and Stack went behind the cut, it was like and then popped him in the shoulder with the bag of money. Fantastic scene.
And also a great chance to show, like these different personalities of these twins as well. His name was Hogwood.
Hogwood, yes. That's why
yeah.
Boss Hog resonated in my head.
Because right there you see like, boy, Smoke is ready to go.
Yeah, Smoke like,
and
ain't no
Stack
boys here.
Stack is like, like we cool, take the money.
Exactly. Like, we got grown men money and grown man bullets. Smoke,
Right.
Smoke wants all the smoke.
Mhm.
Smoke wasn't with all that extra. So, yeah. And I laugh because in Atlanta, you get to see it with your people. And the part when he was like, the Klan ain't around no more or whatever. Everybody in there was like, she. Like,
That was my thing. Like, who you lying to? Who you really think believe the Klan ain't here no more? Like, come on.
Mm.
Like, give me your break. All right, so we haven't talked much about our big villain in Remick. Let's talk about Remick because Remick is a very interesting and complex character. First of all, shout out to Jack O'Connell who portrayed Remick because my man had to sing, he had to dance, he had to be extremely charming, and he had to be horrifying. And he just did a phenomenal job in this portrayal. I think we can all kind of attest to that. Liz, talk to me your thoughts on Remick.
Remick was such a layered character. I loved Remick and as much as I always love to do the first viewing of a film as just a fan, and then I
Yes.
like to try to wait and analyze on the subsequent viewings. But I could not analyze him and all that he represented because he was so much more than just a vampire. Like that was the least of who he was. The way that he zeroed in on Sammy, and that voice, and he was like, "I want your stories,"
Mhm.
I'm trapped here, and your stories can take me back to my people. Like, rarely are they so transparent about what they want with us.
Right.
Rarely are they so transparent about what they want to take from us. And I think that I've always said that this movie wasn't about the dangers of whiteness, but about the dangers of desiring a proximity to whiteness.
Okay.
And I think that goes along with what Ivo was saying about Mary. She used her whiteness when it suited her, and then everybody got killed for it. Like, she was like, well, I can do this. And it was that she was using her proximity to whiteness and got everybody else in trouble.
Yeah.
And it was just, and so Remick really represented that. And I don't know if you're going to get to it later, but I think we got to talk about the Choctaw folks, because I think they were,
They're on here.
they're on there. Okay.
They're on here. They're on here.
Drop
Yes.
that pin right
Yes.
here. But I just think I thought Remick was such a layered character, and yeah, I enjoyed watching him on screen. I think Jack McConnell did a really great job with him, and I was really, really happy to see everything that they did with him and everything that came out, because years ago when they said Ryan Coogler is doing a vampire film set in the Jim Crow South, it was like, what? Okay, if anybody could do it, it'd be him, but what? And he did it with the most charming vampire
Yes.
that, I mean, I did hate every time Remick said Sammy, I was like, you don't have to do this. You don't
Right.
have to say it like you don't have to bring in this generic horror element for no reason. But I understood it. But I could go on and on about
But
Remick.
it was done. It was done well. It was
so
done
well, so
really
well. I really loved Remick.
Jewel, go ahead.
I'm
Add
sorry,
something.
Mike,
Oh, go ahead, Ivo.
because I have a hard stop coming up shortly.
Okay, go ahead.
I apologize.
No need.
Very quickly, Rennick, his character was amazing, but I want to start by disagreeing with Liz a little bit. I absolutely think this film was about the dangers of whiteness, not just the proximity to whiteness. And I think Rennick embodies that as a character. I'm going to move very fast because, again, I'm taking this time because I have a hard stop coming up. Do not trust white folks who say they got money. Anytime they show up, I got money, it's going to be a problem. When they want to exchange money or deal with financial transactions, you already know it's going to be a problem. We're not talking about white people. We're talking about whiteness, white folks, people who ascribe to white supremacy, like, Boss Hogg, who sold them the mill in the first place.
Right.
That was dangerous. I don't have time to explain, but I just wanted to touch on that. Like, all of it's dangerous. Rennick comes out the woodworks looking crazy than a mug when we first see him. Smoking.
Yes.
Something is clearly wrong with this man. You open the door, like, what in God's name is this? And he is just talking on the spot. Like, if you've ever been around people who are addicted to drugs or going through very serious things, he's talking like a fiend, just trying to say anything to keep their attention and garner some trust. And so when he sees the Klan robes in the background, he's like, bet, I got a story.
Yep.
And then he starts talking about how, putting on whiteness so he can appeal to other white supremacists. And everything just on and on and on is about, please do not trust these white folks, especially if they come in like this. Because every single time they come like this, it's some stuff on the line. And I really, really enjoyed the scene where after he converted those first two white folks and they came as the musicians,
Burton
when
Joe,
they
yes.
sang Pick Poor Robin Clean.
Pick poor Robin clean.
The second time I saw the film, I knew in my gut Ryan was saying something. So I looked up the song.
Yes.
And it was a real song.
Yes, it is.
Released as a single.
It's a blues song. It's not even a white
real
song.
blues
It's a black
song.
song. Yes.
And it's about a gambler. And how if you look it up, it's there. I got a link to an ad for the single. It's a drawn image of two birds picking at another bird. So the song is being sung from the perspective of this bird who picked poor Robin clean.
Yes.
And it's about gambling. And the interesting thing is, online for years, there have been like white scholars trying to figure out what the song was about because they don't have a cultural lens to look through. When you see the image and you read the lyrics and you hear the song, you're like, oh, I know what that's about. That's about taking down somebody who was showing off in front of poor people, somebody who thought they had it going on. He's gambling. You know how some guys will come shoot craps wearing they fresh new outfit and Jordans, but they in the alley with poor people who are actually skilled gamblers. Those guys get robbed. Those guys get got. I pick poor, robbing clean. Okay, that's what this song is about. And the crazy thing is, they're doing this white cover of Pick Poor, Robbing Clean, not understanding they the robbing that's about to get picked. That's not cute. They're telling you to your face, we coming for you. But they doing it with that cultural appropriation that appears to be innocent and ain't nothing innocent about it.
The choreography and everything.
We just want to hang out. These are cultural vampires, y'all. Do not trust these white people. They not here for no fellowship. That's a lie. They here to take, because that's what cultural vampires do. And then they actually prophesied what was happening in the little, and they thinking it's cute. Oh, let them in. That's cute. Pick Poor, Robbing Clean. They know the jam.
And you know, Stack was the one who was feeling it, because a little more background. Pick Poor, Robbing Clean was a 1920s blues hit. And so in this by 1932, it would have been something that the black folks and the white folks of the time, a song that they would have known. So them singing that is akin to all the people who want to invite certain people to the cookout because they can quote Project Pat, or they do this song or that song. All of a sudden, oh, we bring them to the cookout. No, and Smoke was like, no, they ain't coming to this cookout. They can go down there and they can do that thing over somewhere else.
And they can walk real slow.
And they can walk real slow. And that second time they sang the song is when they sang it with the true intention. Because they sang it menacingly, they sang it slowly, and now they were flat out saying, we're coming to pick you apart. We're coming to take all the good stuff that we want. We're coming to pick you apart. And we're not going to eat the body because it wasn't good to eat. We're going to pick all the parts that we want to take from you.
And this man, he embodied the role so well. He did such a great job with it. That kind of white guy, he was that white man all day and night. I never trusted him for a minute. And it was great. His depiction of that character was great. It was really interesting how he tried to replicate the soul and the magic that was going on inside the juke joint outside with all the living dead, but they didn't have it in them. They were not alive. So no matter how hard they tried to stomp it out and sing it out, they wasn't gonna never get the same spiritual manifestation as even a group of sinners, because those sinners were real and they were alive.
So that's a great point. I want to tie that into, because Jewel mentioned it earlier as well, the amazing scene when they sing Rocky Road to Dublin. Because when that's happening, you see Stack getting involved in it, you see Cornbread dancing, but what they're doing and their movements don't fit the Irish jig cadence. It's not, and you would think when you saw Bert and Jones singing with Remick, they're in sync, they're in tune. But when you see the other black folk that have been turned, even though they were being controlled by him, they're still not in tune with what Remick is doing, just naturally or culturally. Go ahead, Greg.
And I'm on mute. Raise my hand because I was conditioned in school. I just recently saw a video where they were talking about, I'm not even going to try to remember the name, a section in New York where, because the Irish were treated horribly when they came to this country as well. So there's like a section in New York where Irish and black people were allowed to live. And they said that the guy who's credited with starting tap dancing.
5 points is what you're talking about.
Yeah, 5 points. So you heard that too?
I did. It's not It's not very historically accurate because
Mhm.
tap dancing, some of the early European tap dancers had come to Africa and saw that there was tap dancing there long before
Mhm.
5 Points. But I would say the Americanized version of tap dancing
Yeah,
was kind of started between the dance battles between Irish
Irish
immigrants
and the black
and
and
black people here.
yeah, yeah. So I thought that was cool, and I think that that might speak to. It looked like there was something that happened. So while most people were following like straight up blind, it seemed to me like Stack and Mary like they had a little bit more autonomy. I don't know what that came from, but you could see it like the scene when Smoke kills Annie. Like you could see like Mary's like in the middle of getting down, and then she looks up and it's like she freezes and like so it's like I feel like some of the people were able to keep more of themselves. I don't know what that was about. I don't really all the way care, but it's something I noticed, in the because it doesn't change how I feel about the movie at all. But that's a really good point you made because it's like they was kind of like bouncing and adding, So
Yeah, Cornbread had this whole big
yeah, I don't know where that
almost like he was in church type thing.
right.
And I was like, that's not how you move to an Irish jig now. Like, that did not exactly fit what you would expect. And while this movie plays loose, fast and loose with traditional vampire lore. Like Silver traditionally doesn't impact vampires. That's a new thing. I don't really care about that, with the rules. All the other general rules were there. And of course, you can't, just kill one and free the rest. Like you got to kill them all one by one. So that all fit. That was fine. Um, since you said you got a hard stop, and I want to respect your time, I do want to kind of jump quickly into some of the a little deeper, some of the spirituality portion here. Around Christianity within this film. So my personal note, I would like to know what your thought on my note is here. I wrote Sinners complicates the traditional horror trope of Christianity as a universal weapon against evil. Remick and the vampires in the film recite the Lord's Prayer and cross themselves without fear after Sammy reverts to the faith of his father as a last resort. So, in my opinion, it suggests that the movie suggests that faith without genuine conviction is powerless. And it's shown with Sammy's flippant attitude towards the reading of 1 Corinthians 10, combined with his previously mentioned attempt with the Lord's Prayer. Your thoughts to that?
Um, I mostly agree with your sentiment. Uh, Ryan Coogler is clearly respecting different pathways to fighting evil or different approaches to fighting evil. However, Sammy's character is of the Christian tradition. And ultimately, there's this question of whether or not he's going to come to Jesus, and he does not.
Right.
My Christian take on it, because I know this is not a Christian film, but looking at it through a Christian lens, we were so pissed with Sammy. Oh my God. All these people died to protect the anointing, and then your fool behind gonna go right back out there in the street. You made it to safety, and you said, no, I don't want the safety. I want the streets. And we were so tired. Like these people, like hoodoo practitioners, everybody came through to protect your anointing.
Everybody died for you.
No.
Yep.
What the hell with you then, Sammy? Get on my nerves. Oh, that got on my nerves so bad. We were so hot. I mean, and you knew it was gonna happen. You knew it was gonna happen. But we were still just so heated. Like, I mean, Delroy Lindo, he cut open his arm and just he let him cut. And then you just
like, especially after Delroy, like, because what happened to Sammy, like Sammy got the chance to live the life that Rice didn't get. Like, because remember, Rice was going to take that money that they earned and go start a church, and they lynched him.
But see,
like, Sammy had the opportunity to live that life that Rice didn't get to live.
He could have did it for Jesus.
Yeah.
But what did he do?
And that's what Smoke told. And Smoke told, don't do that. Yeah.
think
Man, Sammy was trying not to be a slave no more, man. He wanted to go do music and do his art. The hell, I look like being the most
He was a whole
talented.
slave the whole time. He went out like a sucker. He just was a
No, he
music
didn't.
period.
we have to remember that Sammy did go back to the word. Back to the Lord's Prayer, and the very people trying to kill him.
That was some foolishness. That's why it didn't work. You can't just pull out the Lord's Prayer at the last minute when you about to get got.
Yeah, see, that was trying. Sammy was trying to use the Lord's Prayer like he was trying to use God like a genie. He was trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna rub this lamp and get magically saved.
Right,
That's not how that works.
Whatever his intentions were, any belief that he had that was safety is obliterated because his enemy in that film knew the word.
He didn't believe that. That was a Hail Mary. That wasn't no real faith.
No. But what I'm saying,
she's not saying that it was
I'm
real
not
faith.
saying that. What I'm saying, if we wanted him to come back to the church in the end,
yeah.
If he's thinking back, like, well, why would I go back? If the enemy knows that too, I might as well go off and do what I was going to do anyway. Like that, if that was his last ditch effort to come back, and they're like, haha, we know that too. I mean, he's like, well, I might as well just go back over here and do what I was going to do anyway. If that is what, that's what.
I mean, that's terrible reasoning, but I get it. People do that.
I think it was the cotton, y'all. Like, he didn't want to pick the cotton, man. Like, I don't know. I seen my grandpa tried to show me how he used to pick cotton one time. And I didn't.
If you want to pick cotton for Jesus, to hell with you.
Okay.
And I'm not saying he should have picked cotton all his life. I'm just saying, dang. Like, they was in the church sanctified and safe. Yeah, they needed better business. You know what I'm saying? They did need some bread. They needed some better infrastructure economically for real. But they was not getting like all their blood drawn out. They wasn't getting turned into monsters. There were benefits. There were benefits. And he said, I'll take my chances with the monsters for the music. Okay, Sammy. I mean, my Christian lens, I was very frustrated with him. As a film, it was great. I like the Easter egg at the end where he was singing This Little Light of Mine. You could have let it shine, Sammy, but you didn't want to because you love darkness rather than light, and I'm through with you.
Well,
and
that's the beauty.
The fingers of a guitar player.
Well, go. Jewel hasn't had the chance to say something for a while. Go ahead, Jewel.
Between watching a vampire recite the Lord's Prayer, Cotton wanting to do his thing, and the taste of Pearline.
That should have been first.
Oh, Lord.
Sammy said, I will walk a different path.
He was hooked. You ain't lying about that. He was hooked.
And they ain't had no air conditioning back then. And
no, forget the air conditioning. She walked there. And
no, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about Sammy. Like, so I'm picking cotton. I'm not gonna be able to play this music the way I want. It's hot as hell. And the woman I just fell in love with in one day is gone now. Like,
he won't go have her anyway. She was still married. He won't go have her.
Was she?
Yes, she was.
I mean, she said she was, but
oh my God. Everybody in this movie
here's the wild thing. Pearline's husband, Therese, they all sitting there wondering, where my spouse at?
Right.
Where'd all that money they supposed to come home with?
Right. What is going on?
Poor Therese, expecting this big payday. Her husband
gone. All right, y'all, I gotta go. I love you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for making it, Ivo. We appreciate you sacrificing your time.
So I had like a little side theory. It was like on somebody's post, and they were talking about, Cornbread's wife still sitting at home. And I'm like, no, I have a theory that Cornbread wasn't the daddy. She sent him off so she could go tend to her boyfriend who had just got shot in the ass. earlier.
Trying to rob the smoke, trying to rob the twins.
Yeah, that's how it comes
So
together.
Terry the baby daddy, huh?
She's not as unhappy as people would believe. And Terry was so authentic, bro. Like I know dudes in the South that talk just like, that's your truck. It was so good. It was so good.
Oh man. Staying on the spirituality portion here. Liz, I'm going to ask you to help with that. So, I mentioned earlier, for those who are still sticking with us here, as we are an hour and a half into the stream, thank you all for who are on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We appreciate the comments, appreciate you engaging in this conversation and hanging with us as essentially we just, five friends just chopping it up over this movie. But we thank you so much for hanging with us here. I mentioned earlier that Annie is an active practitioner of hoodoo. And as we've discussed throughout this film, her insights were really helpful in determining the existence and the combating of these vampires. Can you share a bit on some of the portions of hoodoo? Like we mentioned earlier, the mojo bag, High John is mentioned. And can you share a bit on that, as a lot of people don't know about the physical root of High John as well as the character, the personage of High John?
There we go. So my grandma always had High John. We never had the root. And I don't know if that was an affordability issue or what. We just always had the incense. We had the spray. We always had it around the house somewhere. It was always, and I've got some in the house now. But it is a protective spell, a protective root, as many things are, hence the term root workers, because we work so much with the earth and the ground. And I loved that it was one of the babies who came to ask her for it.
For a pinch of High John, yes.
Yes. I love that. I love that she had her little botanica over there that she was running. So yeah, I really appreciated how it wasn't, how the entirety of Annie's hoodoo practice was just normalized.
Mm-hmm.
Even if Elijah didn't believe in it, he understood it, and he kept that mojo bag on him. And at the end, it was the mojo bag that saved him from his brother.
Right.
Which I didn't catch until the second or third go round.
Oh.
I caught it when he pulled it off and the music stopped. And then that's when he died. But I did not catch when Stack tried to bite him and couldn't.
Because that was the second time I protected it. Because the first time protected when the big fight, Remick tried to bite him, and Remick couldn't get close enough to bite him.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yes, because that's how he was able to see smoke. I mean, he was able to see Stack by Annie, was because the mojo bag was keeping Remick from being able to bite him.
I think I caught that the third go round, but the second Stack unable to bite him, and I was like, wait a second. But the first time, I realized when he pulled it off.
And
then he was vulnerable.
Right.
And that's when the music stopped. And it stopped being the music that connected him to blackness. Like it was that very soulful music. When he pulled that off and those banjos stopped and this out of tune chord, and then the banjos started going, and that's when the clan pulled up.
Right.
We've talked about the music, we talked about Ludwig, we talked about all that, but just I really appreciated how Annie's practice was not made fun of, like you said earlier, and how it was not something to be joked about, but everybody respected it. Everybody knew it, whether they believed it or not.
Right. And that's such key to me. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, and I think back. I think earlier, I can't remember. Somebody said she was like the mother. I didn't.
Yes, that was Jules' point.
Yeah, I didn't get mother out of it as much because she was so amazing to look at. So I wasn't, but I definitely got like queen, like priestess, like the thing that was so cool is she was the only person that followed, that was practicing hoodoo, and everybody listened to her. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it wasn't, as today where it's like everybody would kind of roll off into their own shell or whatever. When she was breaking it down in real time, you a Hank, and then she gets to the point where it's like, no, these are vampires. Nobody ever is like, what the hell? None of that. It was like they respected and believed in her conviction so much that they were just gonna, like, you sound like an expert, we're gonna roll with you. It reminded me of a comedian that said, remember back in the day where if you didn't know something, you just shut the F up?
Right.
That's what it was. It's like, okay, this is beyond my depth. So I thought that was really cool. She was amazing.
She was fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For me, Annie was very much the personification of the sacred feminine. She was very much Mother Queen Goddess.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. And yeah, like I said, this is one of the sexiest movies ever without any nudity whatsoever.
Right.
Like it just shone through the cast. Like it shone through completely. The use of nuance when it comes to the bag, the protections, the little things that you don't pick up until the second or third viewing. It's so well done throughout. I want to speak on Remick real quick.
Go ahead.
Chance to.
Absolutely.
The best villains are always the ones who think that they're the good guy.
Yep.
Remick expressed how he came to the word and he liked the word, but that word was used to subjugate his people, to culturally appropriate his people. And what he did was he picked up that ball, that torch, and he ran with it. And now he's doing the exact same thing. This was very much a conversation that has to do with the dangers of cultural appropriation, even from people who might think they're doing a good thing, but you're not. We want your stories. We want your soul. We want who you are. We want to free you from all this. Just come join us. Sounds good. He thinks he's good, but it's not.
Yeah. Absolutely. And his inside knowledge, being able to be very convincing with, revealing that, that the KKK was going to come and destroy the juke joint and kill everybody that they found there. Him making convincing arguments, had them, and you could see, even though they didn't act on it, you could see them pondering like, well, okay, yeah, I mean, what he's saying, makes sense.
Right.
And I've seen so many people, and they could be doing it for views or whatever, but I've seen so many people reviewing this film and be like, yeah, he probably would have got me, with some of those arguments, especially as things dwindled and they were losing more and more hope. It seemed more and more like the better choice to make, the more hopeless the situation seemed. And I think we see that paralleled, in the way. Oh well, that's the whole. I was gonna different thing that would go way off the rails, but we saw that. So we've talked some about the music. We mentioned Pick Poor Robin Clean, Rocky Road to Dublin, This So Light of Mine, and briefly talked about Jamie Lawson's performance, but Pale Pale Moon as a song really seemed to it backlit so much activity going on during that performance. We had the cheater getting busted and getting stomped out. We have Stack and Mary, or Vampire Mary, going at it, and Stack getting taken out. The lyrics that are being sung were were also very contrary to "This Soul Light of Mine," which is sung twice in this film, and in the beginning, and also at the post-credit scene by Sammy, which seems to almost be alternate universe. Like, okay, this was Sammy making a different choice. Um, but that song, what type of how did that song resonate with you all watching that very impactful scene?
Again, nuance. It's telling the story on multiple levels at the same time. It's not beating you over the head with it, which I really appreciated when it came to that. It's something where you can fall into the lyrics and kind of pay attention to what's going on, and it would very much, again, just portray the background, and it's like weaving this tapestry and keeping it all together. I really appreciated all aspects of the music and the lyrics in it. Like it's beyond Easter egg. It's like Easter baskets all over the place constantly.
Right. It felt to me, and anyone correct me if they feel like I'm wrong. It felt like such a rebellious song in nature, because you've got Stack clearly going against his brother's wishes by hooking up with Mary. You've got this guy who's cheating, and that's one thing that they didn't want that. So you got this guy cheating. So you have all this rebellion being kind of personified in this one scene through this song being sung by this very alluring woman, but who happens to be married, and is out here primarily to get her flirt on with Preachable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the like again, I think it was just another metaphor for what the club or the juke or the bar has been, to us as a community for a long time. It's like I can go here and then like it's like an escape from all the horribles. And so for like people who have been oppressed and suppressed, you know what I'm saying? Like I think it was the perfect song. I was just listening like the first time, and so I had to like actually stop and listen to the lyrics. I'm like, ooh, this is deep, because it was perfect. It's basically like in the song they talk about basically like I don't care if the sun shines anymore. It's all about this moment right here, and I thought it was beautiful, well done, well placed, and then the way it's when it goes into like you said the Easter basket or whatever. It's just a song, so you just like people up here performing songs, but then when you go back and really sit down and think about it, it's like, oh, okay, you were talking to it right there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Have anything to add to that, Liz?
I will admit that I was not paying much attention to the song. I am in the minority in this crowd, but Perlene was my least favorite character. So I know.
It's okay.
I'm
It's
holding
okay.
on to
It's
that.
okay. It's okay.
No, you know what?
Holding on to that.
She was my least favorite too, so it's okay.
She
No,
was my least-
I agree.
Yeah, Greg's the only one that disagreed with you on that.
She was really good to look at. She's like her character is one that wasn't super essential to the movie.
No,
Right.
at all.
So yeah, I can admit that
Yeah.
she was just really nice to look at.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. But so I was like Greg said, it was a song that was playing, but it was very much a backdrop for me because so much was happening.
Yes.
There was so much going on in that 3 or 4 minutes. Like you said, the man was caught cheating, and then he came at Smoke, and then Smoke sent Sammy to go get Stack, and Sammy was like,
Nope.
not doing that. And so it was like so much was happening in that song during that moment that it was really
And Cornbread got killed during that song.
say it one more time.
And Cornbread died during that song.
Yeah, so there was just it was such a background song for me, and I wasn't really interested in listening to her or seeing her anyway. So that was enough for me. So I will admit that I just pulled the lyrics when y'all mentioned it, and like Greg said, when they said I don't care if the sun don't shine, I was like, well, once again, not an accident. Like nothing that Ryan does is an accident. That much I knew. Always so wonderful to see it like illustrated.
Absolutely.
And the stomp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the stomps were amazing.
Yeah, her stomping as they were stomping him out was
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
that, and then there was the scene early when Annie was trying to like light, when she was like trying to restore the mojo bag, and it's like the snaps of the beat were hitting at the same time she was lighting. I was like, y'all locked in. This is good stuff.
All right. So we're nearing or 10 minutes shy of 2 hours. So we're going to close out by talking about the Choctaw Hunters. I promised we'd get to it, and I meant it. To me, they're the biggest mystery of this pantheon that's within one film. Because we didn't get much of that. You know, we got them, we saw them chasing after Remick. We got that they were in force, at least 4 or 5 of them. Somehow they were able to have this vampire scared to death, running for his life. They were extremely cordial, probably unnecessarily so, but they were extremely cordial to that family, you know. And the one was like, you know, hey, you know, God bless you and your family. I'm out. You know, he warned you. He's like, I warned you. Sun's going down. Well, nothing I can do. I'm out. They're the one thing that I wanted to see more of. You know, what do you guys like?
Spinoff.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jewel.
No, let's take it.
I am not convinced that they did anything to Remick. I am not. I mean, he was out in the middle of the sun, like the sun was up. Because when he came down, he was smoking and he was burnt up.
Yes.
I am not convinced that they did. I think they were going to. It was very clear that they were trying to get him and contain him because he was a threat. But I am not convinced that they were torturing him at all. He was out there in the sun.
Oh no, I don't think they were torturing him. I think they did something.
They were chasing him.
Yeah, I think they did something that. Yes. Although they were chasing him clearly.
Yeah.
But were they chasing him to get him back, or did they see him and they were like, "We need to stop this before it becomes a problem"? Well,
my interpretation is that they were chasing him to get rid of him,
To kill him.
right.
to kill him, and that in his desperation, he leaped up using his vampire powers, exposing him to a bit of that setting sun, which is why he was burning. And that's why when we first see him, he's doing that rough landing.
Yes, I knew he was coming down, but
He's coming down.
The way that you've mentioned, I just didn't think that they were messing with him ahead of time. I thought that they saw him and they were like, "That's a problem. We need to go get him." So yes, chasing him, yes. But yeah, okay.
I didn't think torture, but my to me the unknown is what was going on, you know, prior to that. What's the deal with these like? There's so many unanswered questions with these Choctaw that I would love to know more.
One of the other cultural messages that came directly from this scene for me was, if anybody on this land knows not to trust these people, it's us.
Yeah.
Don't let him in. And once you let him in, done.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I'd love to see a prequel spinoff, the whatever involving them, because that was fantastic. But that's exactly what that said. We know more than just about anyone.
Yep.
Don't trust them. And
and I just don't trust them. Don't let them in.
Don't let them in.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. So I lost my train. So Was the Choctaw big, big unanswered question? Some of the other unanswered questions that I have for the film, which I would love to see more of. I think I mentioned earlier, but I would love to see more some prequel stuff regarding the twins' father and his relationship with Jedediah, Sammy's father. That is definitely more that I would like to see. Oh, Greg, you got something?
I want to like that is like probably the biggest thing. If they ever did something else, I would love to see, you know, what who this father was and what he was. The fact that, you know, Smoke says that's the guitar is their dad's guitar.
Mhm.
It makes me wonder. And then that little line about Mount Bayou, where that guy knew their father was the evil man, and he didn't want them there. It makes me wonder if the dad was possibly, you know, like one of these griots, or, you know, like one of these people that, you know, also had like a gift. Maybe there was something in the guitar. So I'm with you on that one. I also want to see Slim, you know,
Young
being
Delta
a
Slim.
vampire, like tearing people up during the civil rights movement.
Vampire Slim.
Let him
But
go.
y'all said he did. So
and anything that brings Delroy Lindo back on screen. I mean, I'm not going to argue against that.
amazing.
True.
You know, I'm not arguing against that. Those to me, those are the big questions to me that were just kind of like, man, like. Of course, there's other small ones, but that was, you know, I had heard, and again, this is all supposition based off of other people's opinions, but there was, I guess that people were saying that they think the twins' father story was akin to, now I forget, I want to say Robert Johnson, but
Robert Johnson.
Yeah, Robert Johnson. Yeah, Robert Johnson's legend. You know, being a trash blues singer and making his deal with the devil, getting the guitar, and all of a sudden he's good now. So I kind of think that that's what was part of what they were alluding to, particularly because there's something with this guitar. Like Sammy wouldn't put it down. It was given to him by the twins. And his father obviously knew something because he had taken it, you know, and brought it to the church, and Sammy had to come to it for it. You know, so there's so much metaphorically, symbolically going on with the guitar that it would, if I'm Ryan Coogler, and like you said, Jewel, they start throwing the money at him, it would behoove him to do a story about, you know, the twins' father and that guitar, as well as, you know, the Choctaw hunters and what's going on with that, because there's so many layers that you can go there.
We can follow Stack and Mary through the years. You could do a Remick prequel. There's a lot. There's so much that he could do. The world building in this singular movie was absolutely fantastic.
And we will also have the 60 years of Stack and Mary, Vampire Stack and Vampire Mary.
That's what I'm saying, following them through the years.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I was thinking prequel years, but yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, with all that said, I hope they never do anything else with this property, because it needs to just be beautiful where it is. I don't need nobody messing it up. George Lucas destroyed my adulthood. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that. I don't need any of that. Like, just let it be where it is. Go make something else, though.
I can live with that sentiment personally. And honestly, sometimes, you know, the greatest pieces of art keep leaving you asking questions. So
yeah, I think that was. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to be mad at Ryan if he don't touch it again. If he does touch it again, he needs to do what George Lucas did not do and retain and maintain creative control over what is done, and also limit it and not let it get pimped out. But if he doesn't do anything else with it, and this is it, ain't no complaints here.
No.
I mean, the dude hasn't made like a good movie yet. everything he's done has been like special.
Oh no, Kukla.
Oh,
Ryan
yeah.
ain't missing, man. Ryan is not. He ain't batting 300 out here. Ryan's
998.
yeah. Ryan's batting the high 900. He's putting up them MLB The Show numbers in his batting average. You know, he ain't out here batting like regular folk.
He is the only reason why I am not completely both terrified and mortified at an X-Files reboot. Anyone else doing this, I would be running for the hills. But since Ryan Coogler's doing it, okay, I can work with that.
That's fair. Yeah.
And
you mean you don't want Jordan Peele to do it?
I could see him doing it too. He's my other guy right now.
Oh,
No.
And no disrespect to Jordan Peele because I'm
No.
a fan, but I was it was his redo of the Twilight Zone was so lackluster.
Correct.
That I'm like I want a different perspective. I want fresh eyes.
I didn't see that, so I'm gonna.
Unfortunately, you ain't missing nothing.
Cool.
No, Ryan's skillfulness with understatement and nuance and multi-layered storytelling with the X-Files is fantastic.
The way he handles environments, like, yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, viewers, we have reached the 2-hour mark, and I want to thank everyone, especially those on Twitch who have held on pretty much for the entire duration. Special shout out to y'all. Thank you so much. And of course, thanks to my wonderful reoccurring panel. If you didn't catch their intros in the beginning, they were Miss Ivo Jackson, who had to leave early. Thank you so much for her time. To my top right, my man Jules Spears from Omega Spears Travel. Below him, the illustrious author Greg Burnham. And to the left of him is the lovely lady Liz Gillum. I love you all. I appreciate your time. I love chopping it up with you guys. And we are going to be hopefully returning within the next few weeks, hopefully. We can talk about Riri and them, a.k.a. Ironheart. Yes, that's what we call it. We call it Riri and them. That's the name of the show for us. And we're going to talk about those 6 episodes as we can try to coordinate our schedules for the near future. If you enjoyed this, please give a like and a follow either on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, where you can find other Geek Nation content, the original Geek podcast, where we talk sports and geek. You can find episodes featuring all 3 of these lovely people in them, as well as our sports analysis show, Finalysis 101, and our pro wrestling show, Breaking Ring Rust. For all of the squad, any last shout outs, y'all?
I just want to say, if y'all haven't seen 40 Acres, you need to go see 40. Well, I don't know if it's still in theaters, but you need to see 40 Acres because that's another one that we need to talk about. Because so far, as a person that sees everything, I think that's my second favorite movie of 2025 so far.
Is that the Danielle Detweiler one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Love, peace, fish grease. Not stale. Ain't no stale grease. Eddie don't use stale grease now. Eddie don't use stale grease.
Another reason why she was the most authentic.
She was ready to fight.
She was ready to come out the juke about that grease.
We out, y'all.